In 300 BC, a wealthy trader named Zeno stood on a dock and watched his ship sink. In an instant, his cargo, his wealth, and his entire life's work disappeared into the ocean. Imagine standing in his shoes. Your livelihood has been completely destroyed by the sheer force of nature. For most of us, anger or despair would be the only normal reaction. But Zeno took a different path. With nothing left but his own curiosity, he wandered into a bookshop in Athens and began reading about Socrates. He realized that while he couldn't control the sea, he could control his reaction to it. He spent years studying with the city's noted philosophers, blending their teachings into a rigorous, lived practice. He wasn't interested in abstract debate. He wanted to understand how a human being could remain calm and neutral, regardless of their predicament. While we don't face ancient shipwrecks, our lives are frequently derailed by forces we can't see coming. Layoffs happen without warning, relationships end abruptly, or a simple change to a digital algorithm can erase a modern business in a day. We are often taught to tie our happiness to fragile metrics, things like specific income levels or the status of our possessions. But placing your well-being in the hands of these external forces makes your peace of mind a hostage to luck. This is why many people misinterpret the word stoic. We often use it to describe an emotionless robot, someone who just bottles up their feelings and suffers in silence. In reality, Stoicism is an active way of viewing the world. It's a method for processing negative experiences and turning them into thoughts that provide a stable, internal perspective. The cornerstone of this perspective is a principle famously taught by Epictetus, the Dichotomy of Control. The chief task in life is drawing a clear line between external matters we cannot influence and the internal choices we actually command. You cannot control the weather. You cannot force a promotion or how an audience reacts. You only ever possess authority over the amount of effort you exert and your internal reaction to whatever happens next. When you stop judging your success by the outcome and start judging it by the quality of your own effort, your resilience becomes very difficult to break. This mindset is applied through 4 behavioral pillars: practical wisdom, temperance, justice, and courage. Practical wisdom is the ability to navigate complex situations logically. It's the recognition that between a stimulus and your response, there is a space where you have the power to choose your own path. Temperance is the exercise of moderation. While the modern world encourages the pursuit of unlimited wealth, the Stoic ideal is having what is essential and understanding when you have enough. Justice requires treating others with absolute fairness and recognizing our shared humanity. The Stoics actually invented the word cosmopolitan, arguing that we are all citizens of a single world, born to do good for one another. Courage is defined by the persistence to resist adversity and face daily challenges with integrity, regardless of how unpopular your stance might be. Together, these virtues ensure that a practitioner isn't just shielding themselves from the world, but actively working to improve it through their own character. To maintain these virtues, the Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort. They'd take cold showers, eat plain food for days, or sleep on the hard floor. Deliberately choosing these small hardships inoculates the mind against panic. It proves that no matter how hard things get, you can still thrive if your mindset is right. These techniques were highly accessible. Stoic teachings weren't hidden in palace courtyards. They were openly debated in the public squares of Greece and Rome, available to anyone willing to listen. This created a radically inclusive demographic. The philosophy provided strength to the formerly enslaved Epictetus, empowered female practitioners at a time when women were barred from philosophy, and guided Roman emperors like Marcus Aurelius. Because the focus is entirely on the internal mind, the status of the person doesn't matter. The slave, the emperor, and the modern citizen all have access to the same tools of self-worth. The efficacy of this mindset is best seen in the darkest modern realities. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in an unjust prison sentence under a regime of systemic racial oppression. During his imprisonment, Mandela studied the works of Marcus Aurelius. Upon his release and election as president, he chose peace and reconciliation rather than punishing those who had imprisoned him. Mandela recognized that while the injustices of the past were beyond his control, the future of his nation was a choice he could still influence. He refused to lose faith in doing good, regardless of the suffering he had endured. As clinical psychologist Jordan Peterson notes, this is the absolute rejection of the idea of being a victim. It is the decision to do good, no matter what undeserved suffering comes your way. This realization that our suffering stems not from events, but from our judgments about them, bridged the gap between ancient philosophy and modern science. This focus on managing internal logic became a primary pillar of modern psychotherapy. Treatments like rational emotive behavior therapy work by helping patients identify self-defeating attitudes and replace them with logic-based beliefs. Psychiatrist Viktor Frankl expanded on this, using his experience as a concentration camp prisoner to develop logotherapy. He proved that even in the bleakest situations, humans can find meaning by focusing on their purpose. We still cannot control the chaotic storms of life. Ships still sink, and careers still face unexpected turns. But we retain unyielding control over how we steer our own reactions. By shifting our definition of value from what we possess to how we respond, we move through the storms of the past and present into calmer, more purposeful waters. We lead a fulfilling life, not because we avoided the storm, but because we mastered the ship.